Well, welcome everyone to Around the World in 80 Rocks, Fossils, and Formations. As you know, maybe not. We have some new people, perhaps. We are focusing on quick sketching, not copying exactly. We are capturing, not copying, and moving really fast, like 15 minutes per subject. And some of these are complicated, and we'll I'll give you tips along the way and dive in. I'm sketching pretty cold on these too, so we're all in this together. So I'm going to start with the presentation. And as always, if you have a question or problem, just ask it out loud. Don't put it in the chat because I can't really do the chat when I have the split screen up. All right, here we go. I'm going to share my screen. And you should be seeing, if you could let me verbally know that you are seeing my desktop. And oh, look at that. I've got some paint on me already. How did I do that? That's funny.
Yeah, we can.
Look good? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, here we go. Around the World in 80 Rocks, Fossils, and Formations. And we are on, believe it or not, number 9, almost done. I'm Roseanne Hanson. Welcome and very excited. And we'll do our quick just reminders. Rocks are minerals. Minerals are elements, made up of elements. As we know, iron, magnesium, calcium. We're going to see a lot of these today, silicon. Minerals become rocks through the formation processes. I love this quote. I say it every time. Minerals are cooking ingredients and rocks are the finished dish. And we will see igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary rocks today. And our joke of the day, this one you have to actually look at. Wow, these burgers are meteor. Actually, it's true. I used less filler this time. Okay, that's a dinosaur geology joke. I thought that was hilarious. And if you hadn't noticed, look at what the grill says. If you are of a certain age, George B. Foreman grill. Haha, I love that. All right. We're in Oceania, but I said Oceania Plus because we are heading south all the way to Antarctica. I had to work this in. Woo! This is so cool. This is called Blood Falls off the Taylor Glacier on the, I believe, the eastern side of Antarctica. Well, it depends on what part you're looking from. And it is iron oxides. So iron-rich hypersaline water is emerging from fissures in the ice the overlaying ice. These soluble ferrous ions have been trapped in ancient seawater 5 million years ago. Here's the really fun part biologically. 17 different microbes have been identified in this outflow and they live under the ice where there is no oxygen. So they don't even know yet. They may use sulfate to respire, using ferric ions and metabolic trace levels of organic matter trapped within them to do this. Never been observed anywhere else. That is so cool. So let's draw. Start with Blood Falls. Choose your where you'd like to do this on your page. As always, I'm using my 9x6 pages, so I work pretty small. I'm going to fit this in. I'm going to do a bounding box, and I might do I like to spill sometimes from my bounding box, but that lets me focus in. I might even, take a smaller bite of the drawing. Now, focus on shapes. This is going to be a hard one. And look at shapes as we go here. What I'm going to do is draw the shape up to the falls. The falls are kind of this triangular shape here. And then I'm going along the bottom of the white ice, like so. And then I'm going to just go ahead and mark. Oh, that phone is doing its thing again. It sort of cascades like this. We've got a little canyon here where the fissure where it's coming out. Then I'm going to approximate these ice cliffs using just some line work. Not a lot. It'll be really tempting to do too much detail in here. Coming over to this side. Don't get, too caught up in details. Ha, easy to say, right? And then I'm just gonna, just to show all these crevasses, I'm making shapes. Make them smaller as you go back. And they kind of have ice, the melt going down. So you're gonna throw a little bit of that uh, vertical, and then we've just don't get too caught up in this. I'm just going to leave that because this is what I want to focus on. Now I've got this really dark bit here. The tongue's going to come out here. I'm going to let that, this is going to be the iron, and it's going to spill. I'm going to let it spill off the page or off the bounding box, which is always fun. So I think I'll leave that. I'm going to go straight to the watercolor and do the inking last. And I'm going to use this new palette idea that I had, which is I have my usual cyan, magenta, yellow, but and that's a cool triad. And I've put in, there's my indanthrone blue and my burnt sienna as a warm triad with a yellow ochre, a white gouache. I always keep that in my kit, but I've never put it in my palette. And here's a warm triad, which is ultramarine, pyrrole scarlet, and cadmium yellow, and my usual neutral tint, a new favorite. Okay. Now I'm going to go straight to this warm red. I don't usually do this, but there we go. So I'm using the Pyrrole Scarlet. And I'm leaving some whites in there. I'm going to make this a little mottled. I'm going to get this now pre-dampen this here so I can get some, it doesn't get really, really hard edges. Leave some white. And now let's drop in. How's that dumb focus doing? Gosh, that's annoying. I may have to stop and mess with that. So this is just coming out onto an ice surface. We could even make a little bit of gray here with, that's purple, and then I'm going to add just a little bit of burnt sienna. So I want to as cool of a gray as possible. It's almost too mauve. Let's throw in a little bit more blue just so I can get this ice surface here. Making a almost black. Oop, let's see, there we go. I'm using a new system, so I've got to relearn. And just pulling some of those tendrils down. Let's see, there's some dark in here. Oh, good. Need to darken up that red, don't I? Interesting. Must be very, very kind of alarming to see. And then we're going to hit the ice. I'm going to hit with this kind of mauve. I need a little bit more gray, so I'm adding more burnt sienna. That's too. I don't want it too brown. I want it very bluey and pretty watery. Don't want a lot of color. And I'm going to try to leave the crevasses. Now be careful getting close to your red. You don't want to mess that up. I'm going to go to a brush with natural bristles. I'm not liking the water brush. Let's see how this does. Don't want to fill in too much there. Get some, just make it kind of varied here. There we go. And maybe a tiny bit of there's a little bit of the red in here coming in. And then I think I'll I can finish with ink and a little bit more dark, darken this a little more, maybe use some neutral tint. And that'll help it look a little varied as well. These tendrils coming down. And then you can just with a little bit more gray, add just a little bit more detail, only in the foreground though. All right, I'm going to stop there, let it dry. I can come back with some little bit of ink, do my border. I'd be able to do that right now. Time's not bad. I like to get my bounding box. And then you can go in and just very carefully do a little bit of the fissure here. To dry a little bit lighter there. Trying to like make my hand skip a little bit on purpose. Looked really dark in the camera. It's not as dark on my page. Um, Great. Oh, we forgot the details. This is Blood Falls. It's Antarctica. And this is ferrous, iron oxide, ferrous oxide, Fe2O3. And it's soluble iron ions. There's a tongue twister. All right, well, it's time to move on to the next one. I'm actually liking the way that came out. And the ink is a bit heavy, but that's what we have. All right, now we're moving on. Where are we heading now? We're going to head now to southwestern Australia, to this incredibly cool spot called, very originally, Wave Rock. Here's what it looks like down below. It is a really cool granite formation. Actually, here's the full composition: K feldspar porphyritic Monzo granite. It's part of a craton, which is a continent-wide uh, part of the continental drift system called the Yilgarn craton, and it's known as an Inselberg. This is a solitary hill of rock that juts up out of the plains, just like Uluru. The stripes are chemical weathering, so probably oxide of various minerals. and it's about 50 feet high and 360 feet or so long. And it's 2.63 billion years old. So that's pretty crazy. And the people whose homeland this is, the Balardong, believe this. I love this, that it was created by the rainbow serpent dragging her swollen body over the land after she had drunk all the water. And that's why it's a desert now. That's so fun. I love that. So let's draw wave rock or Katerkitch. And I'm probably going to put mine up here since I don't really have enough room down below. And again, I think what I'll do is I'm going to give myself a little bit of a bounding box. Just lightly. So what I'm going to do is actually looking at, this view that I've got. I'm going to go ahead and make this side the tree as a kind of bounding element, and I won't, I won't have a lot of details. And then I can bring in the rock here. I'm aiming for about here. This is what I'd do if I were just sitting here sketching. So in the foreground here, it's going to look, a little more, the wave is more dramatic. Bends in like so. Give us another one, but make it a little closer. Until we kind of need to start making it look farther away. Like so. Now it looks like it's receding. And when we can draw in our little person there to give it scale. Ooh, that red is going to come off. I'm trying to get this blob of red paint off my hand. We'll put our little hiker person here. Just, make some squares and lines. Don't try to get too much detail. Like so. And I'm going to ink in a little bit. And then you're just going to, you're just representing tree here. You're not going to try to draw the whole thing. This is our, a great way to have a bounding area. So I'm letting this kind of spill, and then I'm going to go ahead and very lightly, let's see, give myself, don't want to make it too dark, especially as I recede. There is a fence up here. I am going to skip it for this because I don't really need it. And you're allowed to edit. I'll continue these lines with paint. they're there to help guide me. Whoops, got off on that one. But you don't want them to be like super perfect because we're this is rock. It's not completely perfect. It's got texture. Okay, how's everybody doing? I'm gonna go ahead and ink this little guy in. I like it. Like sometimes I really like the pencil and then the ink will mess it up. But if I don't ink it, I'm afraid it'll just kind of disappear in the paint. So let's give this, I'm going to go ahead and write the name up here. This is Wave Rock. And after I do some notations, then if I want to maybe do some of the clouds afterwards, I can do that once it's dried. So this is Australia. And it is, go ahead and just say granite unless you want to write the whole cave feldspar porphyritic Monzo granite. Um, it is an Inselberg, which is literally like an island mountain. Let's see if I can fix this focus. So hold on. All right, let's see if I can get that to work. That was interesting. It completely re-changed or changed the where it is, which is fine. Maybe it will stay focusing now. Okay, and it is where were we at? It is an Inselberg, granite Inselberg. And it's 2.63 billion years old. Wow. And then if you want to say it's rainbow serpent. For the Ballardong people. Oh, I kind of like how that's coming out. And before I put any more paint, I'll remove some of the pencil. What have I got here? Cleaning off my palette. Let's make a green, hit that green real quick. I'm just going to use my cool colors here and then warm that up with an indanthrone because I kind of want a darker and to make it pretty soupy. And with a lot of blobs. All right, and so I'll start with a layer. Hopefully this is dry enough. I'm going to start with a layer of, I'm going to go ahead and use my yellow ochre, which I've never had in my palette before. I usually make a approximation, but here we go. I'm trying a new system. I don't know if I would carry a palette this big. Isn't that funny? In the field. if you don't have a yellow ochre, I make it with burnt sienna and, well, I'll put a big puddle of my neutral yellow and just add a dab of burnt sienna to kind of knock it back, warm it up, make it look earthy. Now I'm going to warm it up even more with some burnt sienna. So this is my, what I call my earth triad. Um, Indanthrone blue for the red, burnt sienna, and the yellow is yellow ochre. So I took yellow ochre and I'm putting just a little bit more of the burnt sienna. Let's get some stripes going. You want to try to get this line right there, just to make it so it's not quite, a complete cylinder. Yes, it still slopes here, but we want it to look like it's receding off here. Now mix some black gray with the ooh, indanthrone. That's really soupy. It's hard to get a good color when it's too much water. That's better. Yeah, we want gray, kind of a browny gray. So I'm adding more of the burnt sienna in. See that? I don't want a too strong. Actually, what I'm going to do is get this damp. So clean brush. I'm going to dampen parts of it so I don't get too hard of lines. Let's see how that works. And that helps maintain the texture. The pen work helps me to keep my lines, keep the shape going. And notice I'm letting the brush spread out so it does a little dry brush. There, it's working. What I really like about burnt sienna and the indanthrone is that it is a little more movable than transparent watercolors. You can move it around on the page and it won't completely mucky it up. Well, I'm liking that. I'm going to let it dry. It's a little darker in reality on my page than it's showing in the on the screen. But as always, coming in later, maybe darkening it up just a little bit. Here, I'm going to grab a little neutral tint because we need to move on. Yeah, too wet. I'll be coming back. I can hit that up with a little bit more darks, but I think that's fun. I like that. But I want to move on because we've spent We're on number 2, and it's time to move on because 15 minutes approximately just for this initial part, and then feel free to work on them more. It's like in the field, you would capture this, and then maybe later or at lunch while you're, out hiking, you can continue to add and improve. So let's move on. Where are we going next? We're going to stay in Australia, this time kind of central. Hmm. Look here, what do we have? We have pretty sparklies. There's a great backstory to this. So, Jonathan and I were in Australia with our Land Cruiser and on our way to Coober Pedy, which is famous, probably the world's most famous opal town. There are dozens and dozens of mines, and the places you stay are almost all underground. All the hotels are built underground. I have real bad claustrophobia. So I'm like, nope, nope on a rope. We're not going to do that. So I booked, these are the mines. You can see hundreds of mounds. So I booked at the Comfort Inn thinking, okay, that's a standard one. That'll be above ground. And we get there and that's our room about 100 feet underground. I'm like, oh my God, okay. It's going to take a bottle of whiskey to get me down there. And you see the umbrellas in the back? Those are air holes. And the umbrellas are because throughout the night you hear like rocks falling down. Okay. Bonus in the walls. This is covered by plexiglass. That's an opal seam. Okay, that was cool. I did make it through the night. And Jonathan bought me a couple of opal rings. So we are lucky. Let's, pick which one you want to draw. Do you want to draw the ring or do you want to draw the raw opal? Let me get situated again here. Moving things around because I'm going to go back and put my opal here. I'm going to bounce around. Oh, and that reminds me. So, yeah, you don't have to number them. I don't know why I do. It's just what I do. And this will be 3. I'm going to do the raw opal. Well, don't ask me why. I kind of just like the look of it. Maybe I'll put it here. And we're capturing, you don't have to do an exact copy of the opal. Just do a blind contour kind of thing. Got enough? Mark in some of the inclusions here. There's the rind kind of comes up here. There's an inclusion here. And a bit of a kind of a split here, and the rind, the inclusion there. It's just a little more scrabbly. And you can mark here if you just do some judicious lines to show which way the contour goes. And here we have this goes down like this. And a rough edge there as it comes up. And so we want to show this shapes like this. And that helps give it a little bit of form. You can do a little bit here, like so. And we have, you rough up the edges a little more of the inclusion. Okay. One more inclusion there. Again, let's just leave that Now for the watercolor, what I'm going to do, clean that palette. Because I need some, I'm going to be doing some, I want real clear, clean colors for this. So use your most transparent, brightest primaries here. I'm going to lay down, believe it or not, yellow, my bright aureolin, the cobalt yellow, and hit the places where I want. I'm going to be turning that into a bright green using glazing. And I can also turn that orange. And there's also some nice, just pure cyan blue. I'm going to my cool blue here. Notice how bright that is. And I'm going to put that kind of, there's some streaks. How's everybody doing? Following along? It always gets so quiet. I like any humans out there.
Hi, Roseanne. I'm doing good. It's great.
Awesome. Thank you. Sweet. Thank you. It's so weird doing these because it's like it feels like, no one's there. So here, hoping these are dry enough, I'm going to create some bright greens using my cyan directly over, but not really, don't do it too saturated so you can get that really pretty green. Or premix your green, it just won't be quite as glowy, if that's a word. That's going to be orange, a little green there. Leave some of the yellow showing. It's very bright. So the opal, I jumped right into the drawing and I forgot to kind of give us the background, but opal they're like little ping pong balls of silica, tiny, tiny spheres of silica, and that they're stacked, and that diffraction is what creates the beautiful varied colors.
Are you talking about like at a extremely small
Yes,
scale?
like tiny microscopic scale little silica balls.
Cool.
And that's what creates the light. Just getting some of the orangey magenta in there. And then I think what I'll do is I'm going to play around. I'm experimenting. I'm going to get some of my white gouache. So I've got some of the white gouache. And I'm going to create this kind of milky, bluey color. Be careful not to mess up your regular paints, though. Don't dip your gouache right into them. That just sucked it right up. Getting the edge. I want pinky blue. There we go. but I want it to be kind of opaque to kind of get, let's see if I can get this clear water. Being careful, don't go over your opaly bits, but this opaque color. Dabbing just a little bit more of the magenta. So I'm trying to get the matrix is this opaque purpley blue. And now I do need to pull it right up to the edge of the spark, the opaly bits. And this is an experiment. I've not done an opal like this before, so it's all new to me. See what works. I'm going to get some kind of yellow ochre with a little bit of indanthrone. Indanthrone is such a rich color. I say I almost always get too much. And it's actually going to, even though I say it's yellow ochre, it's going to be closer to gray than green. I'm looking for a yellow ochre that's has a little more greeny bit. To get some of this, the matrix color. And try to paint in the direction that you drew your lines, because that really helps with the depth and trying to show what direction. Let's see. Just touching this in the little cracks so it shows that it's got some texture. All right, somebody's unmuted, so check your mutes right now. Now I get a little bit of neutral tint, or mix yourself a, a black, a dark with your indanthrone and burnt sienna to give our matrix some interest. See how that really makes it pop. And I can put these lines back in very faintly. And one thing we'll want to do, this is another reason I do like this, the neutral tint, is we can quickly kind of create a shadow under our rock to show it's sitting on the page. I mean, feel free to kind of make that up, whichever way you want your light coming from. All right, now what can I do to make that? I need more, I kind of need a wash of very light magenta, I think. There's more interest in here. I want really soupy colors though. See that? You put a tiny bit on at a time. You can always put a little bit on, but if you put too much, it's harder to take it away. But you see there's some nice opalescent. I'm just putting, oh, the barest magenta. Ooh, that's too much. Yeah, see, too much. Watch out for too hard of edges, but don't kill your opals. So I think that there, you saw me throwing in just a little bit more of the magenta is going to make that pop better. And let's leave that for now. I do have a tendency to overwork things. Oh, and I forgot. I got so excited about the opal, I completely forgot. This is white opal. Forgot to write things down. And this is hydrated silica. You can write the formula down if you like. It is, so this is, we're in Central Australia. Coober Pedy. And it's where 70% of, oh, 95%, sorry, 95% of the world's supply. Oh, from 70 opal fields. And silica spheres they refract the light, or diffraction. Oh, and I found that Bedouins believe that opals contain lightning that fell from the sky during thunderstorms, which is super cool. I actually really like the way the matrix is coming out. I could use a little more darks in there, but overall, I'm happy with this. It's looking opaly on the page even, so I'm going to leave that and we're going to move on. Amazingly.
I have a question, Roseanne.
Yeah.
If you tilted this rock, would the colors kind of
Oh yeah.
change? Does it play off the cool, cool, cool.
Yes, I could.
Okay.
My main jewelry is packed away. We haven't, we haven't finished our house yet. So wasn't able to put my hands on this ring so I could show you. But yes, it completely changes. You even a millimeter, you move it, it changes. You're looking at light diffracting through millions probably of tiny, tiny spheres. Opals are so beautiful. And it's got a lot of depth. And these are natural opals. Opals come in something called triplets jewelry, where they'll take a lesser grade opal and it's really, really thin, and they put a backing behind it that's either black or another color that makes it more opaly looking. But this is a 100% pure white opal, doesn't need a backing. And they're surprisingly not that expensive. So that wasn't a super expensive one. They obviously get really expensive. So now we're heading up to Indonesia, to Sarawak, up above Australia, to an amazing place. Very well known in the cave world. We're looking at the cave entrance now. right almost in the center. Hardly knew it was there because of the rainforest. Those are very tall trees. And now here we are in the cave looking out. This is Mulu uh, National Park, Mulu Caves. This is particular cave is called Deer Cave. And it is caves, limestone. They were created when the Asian and Australian plates moved, causing the crust to buckle and elevate. That created Borneo and these mountains, Mulu Mountains. So now it's called Gunung Mulu National Park. Uh, Deer Park, it's called because Cervus unicolor, native deer, comes into these caves for salt licks. And approximately 3 million bats, over 30 species, live inside these caves, this deer cave particularly. You can see in the middle of that photo, that swoosh coming down, are bats either entering or leaving. I can't tell. Probably entering is my guess. Or no, leaving. Yeah, I don't know. So we'll have to find out. Look at the people down there. They're all photographing the bat exodus or ingress. And there's some freshwater crabs that live only in these caves called troglobionts, which is super cool. That means they're cave dependent. All right, let's draw this gorgeous um, scene. I love this. Tony Foster has a famous painting of this. So I'm going to draw this down here. Again, a bounding box. Have a lot of landscapes this time. Oh, it's a little wonky, but that's okay. Now, what I'll want to do, I'm going to go ahead and straighten this out. Not much I think for this it'll be better to have it give me a little bit more real estate. Okay. Now what we'll do is start with the shape of the cave. It starts about a third of the way. You so bring it up. We come over, and now the actual cave entrance, where it's going to just barely come in like this, because what we're seeing behind it is another cliff wall here, and then we come down and we'll start the base. You don't have to, get it exact, but here's the first base here, and then right here we have a foreground closer, kind of a rock shape, kind of covered in moss and bits, comes down and creates a nice shape there. So do your little shapes, goes like that. Doesn't have to be exact. You get your proportions is good, yeah, but don't sweat it. This is a little bit lighter in there, and that's all the detail we're going to do there. Now, before you forget, don't forget to put all these wonderful like hanging plants. We can do that with pen as well. Your other wall comes out here. make it just really light and scrabbly. Then some of the best parts are these really cool palms, assuming they're palms. We'll give them, some detail. Maybe I'll go straight to ink on those so I don't have to wait for them. They can dry. Because they're such a cool part of the whole scene, aren't they?
Roseanne, what was the like temperature, humidity like in here? What did it feel like to walk in?
Oh, this is not my photo. We have not
Oh,
been yet.
okay.
I wish.
I
I
wish
wish.
too that I'd been
Yeah.
here. Okay,
Oh my
okay.
gosh, wouldn't that be amazing? It's on the list for sure of like places I'd really like to go. Jungles are way out of my comfort zone too. We are going to Belize coming up. We're doing a field arts adventure in Belize. They still have places if anyone wants to join us. It's going to be very adventuresome and fun, and we will be going in some caves. And we will be making Mayan blue pigment or paint from Mayan blue. I would imagine the humidity is quite high.
When is that trip, Roseanne?
That is no late November. It actually ends on I think the day after Thanksgiving. And we're staying at a Jaguar research camp. So it's way in the back country, really cool. It's a definite adventure trip there. And then do your rocky bits here. Yeah, we'll be have four-wheel drives because some of the roads are really more adventuresome, especially if it rains. And then we'll be going to a very famous, one of the largest Mayan cultural sites called Caracol, which is hard to get to now. And within a year or so is going to be, there'll be a paved road. So we want to get there before that happens. See how I'm doing broken line? And then this is a little lighter. I don't want to like make that line super strong. And then we've got a few trees in here. And our hill is going to come up here and come down like that. Oh, and let's put our little person in. We've got a little person standing right here. It's another one down here if you want to put in two. All right. And then you can do it with very light, I just do pencil marks. The cave, just to show some curvature that we're talking about. We're looking at the curved entrance. I think if you use pen, it might come off too strong. Oh, let's see if I can do this with this weird angle. Okay. So this is Deer Cave. In Malaysia, or Sarawak, which is a province, I believe. And it's limestone, which is calcium carbonate. Sedimentary. Oh, I know. Let's not forget to put little dots in for all the bats. I think I'll wait till after I'll do the watercolor, then I'll do the bats because I'm afraid that they'll smear if I don't. So this was created about 5 million years ago, years old.
So look at this picture.
Pardon me?
Sorry.
Oh, you might want to mute.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is in Gunung Mulu National Park. And approximately 3 million bats of 30 species. The deer are Cervus unicolor. And they come in for the salt licks. See how you can simplify. I mean, that's a super complicated view, but it's you can simplify it. And not, not sweat it too much. Here's some nice blue. I'm going to go ahead and create my green, but I want that fairly dark. Oops, let me so you can see that. Let me know if I go off screen like that, if you want to see the color mixing. So I'm darkening it up with Indanthrone blue. Just to do some, how are we going to do this? So just to show, let's give some splashes on the ferns. Keeping the brush feathery. We've got other foliage back there. Notice how I like vary the green color so it's not all the same. We've got some foliage in here. I'm going to just do a wash, I think. I don't want that to get too dominant though, so I'm going to have to hit that with some browns. Actually, if you put a green like this and then hit it with some magenta, the opposite, it's going to turn olivey brown, so that will look olivey green. It'll knock it back nicely so it doesn't look like it's too close. And now I'm going to grab some of that convenience yellow ochre. So let's do, I'm doing yellow ochre. I'm going to add danthropine, which makes it kind of a muddy. Add some burnt sienna. I want that even darker, so you see how making it what's called dry brush, so we can leave that motion. And so it shows that curve. I just added a little more water. So that's kind of my first wash. I'll darken that, but I wanted to get that motion down, that curve. You start with your lights. You can always darken them, but you can't take a dark and make it light without a lot of work. Okay, so now I need a real dark. I'm going to do my indanthrone, burnt sienna. Too dark. Just these shadow shapes in here. Leave it as mottled as you can. And we've got different shades going on here. And then here's how we can help differentiate too. There's foliage growing. So drop that in. Quite sure this is full of like mossy bits and stuff. Don't worry about the one in the back. We want it to fade away. And I think there's, although the eye is showing us that this is all dark, I think it would look better if we gave it a little bit of, just a little bit of interest. Because I think it would look, because this is a painting, not a photo, I think it would look better doing it this way. And now we want to go much browner, just brown that up to do this. Give it a little bit of texture like so. And now we get, foreground, background, interesting stuff going on. Our way in the background mountain, we want it to be, here, I'm going to mix this into like a really pale green. because it's kind of misty. And then the sky, oh gosh, let's just kind of do a gray sky. I mean, it's just not going to be a lot going on. Oh, that's got too much green in it, so very pale. And finally, if you have time, we're running. Do your, this is greenery kind of coming down, make it really, really dark green. Sort of making just sort of some soupy darks. There, and that's how you get that cave structure going. But don't fill up all those. You want those highlights. Don't fill it up solid. All right, I should probably move on.
How's our timeline?
Yeah, I'm running a bit over, so we're on our fourth, and we have only 45 minutes, so we're gonna go fast. I had fun with that when I didn't want to stop. Okay. And I'll have to come back and do our bats. Don't forget the bats. See how that beautiful, like, swirly line. Okay, let's see. Oh, where are we? We're going to go to New Zealand next. Oh, cool. This is a really fun rock. This is greenstone, nephrite jade, or nephrite punamu. It's calcium, magnesium, and iron, and the crystals are interwoven and fibrous. In fact, the Maori name for the South Island of New Zealand is Te Waponamu, the greenstone waters. They're washed down into river, very one specific location. It's very important culturally to the Maori. And it's said to be a giant water being, protects people with its life force. So fun. So choose which one you want. To save time, I will likely do just the rough boulder, or it's not a boulder, it's a rock in a river. Not very big. Because I think for me, the spiral, I will probably get crossways with it. But do the spiral, they are those are carved protection stones that are very popular for the Maori people. So just do kind of a contour again. Don't have to be absolutely perfect. And what we'll want to do is I'm going to mark some of the features and probably even use a little might even want to use some gouache later to pull out those lighter highlights.
You might move your
Oh,
uh,
thank you.
sketch to the
Yeah,
right.
got it. Thank you.
Perfect.
And so to show these planes here, we want to just use some real judicious pencil work to show the, oop, that didn't, it actually comes, didn't quite get that here. There we go. There's a kind of a lip here. Like so. And then this, you can show just a little curves if you want here. And there's a little bit of a bite right in here. But most of this we can show with shading. So this is, I'm going to go ahead and call it the nephrite or Nephrite jade, and then the Maori name. Punamu. And it is calcium, magnesium, and iron. Interwoven crystals. Fibrous crystals. And it is very important culturally to the Maori. So this is going to be a fun one. We'll want a nice, ooh, I'm going to clean that palette. So these bigger palettes, they just get messier. I swear I have more real estate, but I still have to clean it as much as the little one. I think it's because it's bigger. I just leave more stuff on it. So I'm going to go with Indanthrone blue and my nice clear yellow for a very nice rich green. And I'm going to do basically as much of a mottled wash as I can. It's going to be lighter on the first pass. Let it pool, a little darker down below. Got to keep this one moving so you don't get hard edges. This Indanthrone can create hard edges. Doesn't like to move once it's down. And there's that lighter bit down in the front there. Maybe I can just, use the brush to pull that out. Now, while it's still wet, I'm going to mix just a little bit more. filling in. Let's not do that one. And trying to retain some of the shape. Yeah, I think that's going to create a really nice uh, finished rock there. Pure indanthrone. Just trying to get some of that mottled dark here. Very dark. Mm. See, as it dries, you start to get too much hard edge. Which I kind of want there. Look, I even managed to accidentally, I have to admit, I didn't plan that entirely. Um, there's a little bit of the white, which will work nicely for the stripes that are in there. Oh, so this is in water. So let's see. I'm gonna do some really dark indanthrone with neutral tint. Um,
This jade looks like it's has water running through it and over it. It is really
that's a great description.
so much depth.
Yeah, it really does look like it just literally just emerged from the water. So I'm leaving that for now. I'm coming back later because I've got 15 minutes, two more, and we're only on five. Um, but I'm really liking like all this mottled shape here, and I can work on some of these edges if I want later. But I think the color turned out pretty nice. Needs to be a little darker, but you don't want to go, like I said, too dark first. Oops, I got quite a bit of blooms in there. You probably saw me doing that accidentally, but we'll work it in. But that's really cool. Now, where are we going next, though? we're going to stay in New Zealand. Oh, these are fun. Oh my gosh. So these are super famous spherical, they're called concretions. They're calcite septarian concretions. So carbonate rich, calcium carbonate, limestoney. Um, they contain a hollow core. And so when it cracks, you get this like egg on the beach. They're big. They're like half a meter to 1 meter, or a lot of them are 2 meters or 7 feet wide. What created them? They don't know for sure. So there's some fun pictures of people like emerging from them. So that's just going to be really fun to draw. Um, the name septarian means partitioned or separating element. So here we will do as much of a sphere as you can, and then we'll have to add it, kind of make it go into the sand a little bit. Like so. And then let's create that fissure. Closed that up just a little bit too much. And then start forming finding your other cracks here. This comes down, so mark that as a plane that comes down. Then over here, you'll want to come in. You've got another crack coming in. And then go ahead and draw your fissures that don't go all the way through, but just add these interesting cracks. There's another one here. Like so. And then there's a few little fissures here. You don't want to make them too big. Very curious that geologically we don't know really what created these. And then this is kind of, stuck in a beach thing. So these are Moraki boulders. In New Zealand. Hey, and I just noticed I didn't put New Zealand up here. They are calcium carbonate, and they're called calcite septarian concretions. And they're hollow. And they're from, oh, they date to the Paleocene, which is 56-ish million years ago. And they're between, say, half a meter to 2 meters wide. So fun. So this guy, I mean, fixing up a nice, just a base gray would be a good place to start. So I've got a bunch of indanthrone already there. Throw in some burnt sienna, which I want a warm gray. That looks good. Let's just do that as an initial wash. Maybe a little bit more of the blue. Letting that indanthrone texture come out. And these surfaces here have more of the brown, so we can use that to our advantage while it's still damp. And that quickly dried out, didn't it? I like the texture. Fun. And just giving it a little bit harder edge here and going ahead and showing a little bit of the how it gets rounded. Now I lost this nice shelf here.
Do you know exactly where they're found in New Zealand? Like which
Ooh,
beach?
it's called Moraki Beach, I believe.
Oh, Moraki, like the boulders. Okay.
Yeah, I believe so. I think they're one in the same, but I would have to double check that.
And which island is it on?
I
New
believe
Zealand.
And north or south?
I think it's on the South Island,
Okay, thank you.
but we'll want to double check that because I
Okay.
neglected to do my good metadata on that.
My daughter's going there, so I want to say she'd love to see these.
Oh, fun. And the last thing I'll do before moving on is I want to do this kind of make sure I've got the interior. I don't want to overdo the dark. I think it would be really easy to do. I'm going to let that cogitate a little so I don't overdo it. And I can start a kind of a mud color here. I just dipped into yellow ochre and grabbed a little bit of the neutral tint. And I'm going to let that stew for a bit. But I really like the texture that came out. And then I'll go in lastly, probably using pencil and pull out, some of the lines. Actually will follow my own where the paint went, just because that just really makes it look natural. See that? That just worked great. Nice. Oh, I really like that. So following, rather than doing reality, follow your paint. And
It is South Island.
thank you. See, I'm having a hard time stopping. This is just too fun. So that was fun. Okay. But where are we going next? Oh, and don't forget to add some green moss or yeah, I guess that's moss. Ah, we're heading back to Australia because I discovered this late and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to include it. Because it's so cool. This is Muakkite jasper and it's silicified radiolarites, which are microscopic radiolaria are microscopic skeletons of ancient sea creatures mixed with silica and iron oxides. Rah! It's not a true volcanic jasper. Okay, and this is my favorite phrase of the entire Around the World in 80 Rocks. It is fossiliferous radiolarian ooze. How could we not do that? I mean, seriously? Okay, let's get some fossiliferous radiolarian ooze going. Oh my gosh. So again, we're going to do a really rough, not going to copy it exactly. This isn't scientific illustration here. I'm going to start from the far left. I've got a little bumpy coming up here, just a little loop here, comes down, straight edge, kind of does a little bite, comes up here, bite. Is this going to be exact? No, that's okay. Now, these have some interesting planes too. I'm going to get this color. This sort of creates that shape there. that shape there. That's not quite exact, but that's okay. Here's the shape here, and then you've got a little bite of rough there. And this, has some interest and bite in here. And there's a kind of a sharp fissure there. And I think that's worth marking here. Up at this point, we've got some there, that stops there. There's a that goes that way, and then we have a oh, it doesn't quite go that way, but that's okay. I'm not going to sweat this one because we're running low on time. I think we can have a lot of fun with this one. So this is, before we forget, Muakite. So it's over in, only found at Mooka Creek in the Kennedy Range of Western Australia. So that's why it's called Muakite jasper. So Western Australia. Only from at Mooka Creek. And it is silicified radiolite. And that is not jasper, but my favorite word, fossiliferous.
My screen is small. Could you spell that?
Oh, yeah. So fossil, so just Fossil,
Mm-hmm.
iferous, Iferous. So
Okay.
I'm writing this as I go. OUS, fossiliferous, and then radio, and then Larian, Larin.
Ooze.
Ooze. I love it. Oh my gosh. Favorite ever. Okay.
Thank you.
What? Okay, so to get that red, boy, that's going to be an interesting one, isn't it? Again, cleaning my palette. I'm going to go ahead and use my Pyrrole Scarlet, but I want to knock it back a little bit. Just a tiny bit. I'm going to add a little bit of burnt sienna because I just don't want that super there. See how much, oh, sorry.
Can
more
you move? Yeah, I
brown.
was just
Yeah. See how much more brown that turns the red.
Yeah,
Can we
that's
see
good.
more of your palette?
Yeah, please watch your next.
Yeah. So there's that Pyrrole Scarlet, hardly anything in nature looks like that. The jury's out whether I'll keep that as a warm red, though it makes a gorgeous orange. So I'm adding just burnt sienna to warm it up and grain it up because burnt sienna has lots of nice texture. So let's see how that looks. I'm going to add back in just a little bit more of the pyrrole there. I'm kind of sweating the details here a little bit. It's such a distinct colors. And that little tiny bite of the yellow. Wow. Oh, I just messed that up. So when you add the burnt sienna to the more the red, it gives it a little bit more grain and it can move it around without killing it. Ah, and I just did you just see what I did? I just painted over my yellow. Oh well. C'est la vie. Don't forget to reserve that yellow, folks. Not like I did.
Isn't that easy to blot?
No, once burnt sienna is not really a lifting color, neither is pyrrole. That's why I do like our lifting colors better, but no, I don't I can try to pull it out. It's one of the hazards of I'm kind of moving faster than normal, but also talking, and let's see what happens. I don't think if I get it wet, let's see what happens. Yeah, it does. Well, it budges a little bit. Little bit. You see I'm trying to approximate those cool striations. And it helps you kind of see the shape of the as well. So there. Now we're going to come in with some orangey yellow. So I'm going to use the it's a gambage, new gambage. Very orange yellow. I'm going to dull that up a little bit with umber. Yeah, that worked. Or not umber, a yellow ochre. And see how I'm keeping it pretty mottled. When you don't over mix, and you'll end up with some nice textural colors. Oh, I'm going to turn this puppy. And we want it to look like that. So I'll just do a wash here, and then I'll probably just move on so we can get a start on the next one. because this can be finished up. But you see how the variations in the paint help with the texture. Let's see what happens if I can get a really strong yellow. No, it's not going to do anything. I can't really pull that bright yellow out. Oh well. In fact, I just kind of did a bit of a blork. I'll have to fix that. That's all right. But you see how we'll go in and work on that, fixing some of these hard edges and things as it dries, and we can go back. Now I'm going to clean the palette, and we're going to move to the last one, which I only have a few minutes for. It's a fun one. If you know your Oceania, you might guess where we're going next. All the way up to Hawaii. And we're going to look at a particular type of lava flow, Pehoho lava flow, which is basalt. So when the molten rock, the lava, comes out at hugely hot temperatures, 2000 degrees Fahrenheit, it's flowing, and then as it starts to cool, the skin forms and is slowly deformed into these really cool, like elephant foot skin shapes. Someone at USGS Hawaii described the surface as like the texture of a pan of brownies because it has shiny parts and dark parts. I thought that was fun. So this is magnesium and iron mafic lava. So how would we depict that? I think I will pull out, I'm kind of looking at that here. I'm going to just make my flow come off the edge of my page and just focus on one part. So I'm not feeling like I have to draw the whole thing. There's a flow. Draw. Let's see. This is going to come around. Okay. And then I'm not going to like worry about a ton of detail here. Now here's the edge of one. Got another coming down kind of here. And then start putting your loops, your ropey bits, which we're going to have to come in and redo after we do the darks. And then remind yourself, like, where are you going to put the red? Because that goes in first. And then this has nice ropey bits. And when you come here, you can kind of do these loops. You'll have to do it again, though, because we're going to be putting gray and dark down. And we're going to mark, this is going to be where the red is. This comes up here. We're going to have a nice red bit here. Okay. Before I forgot, this is number 8. This is, does anyone know proper pronunciation for the Hawaiian? Is it Pehoho?
I don't know, but it sounds right.
Okay. It has the mark over, and it is basalt. And so the molten rock. I've seen people write molten lava, but that's a bit of a, double, it's the same thing. Lava is molten rock. Very is very, it's called aphanitic, is very fine grained. And cools as a skin. And the continued flow creates wrinkles and ropes. So I won't ink that. So what I do to create this, let's just take this fiery red and add you're going to be painting over it mostly too. I mean, you're going to be showing windows of it. Kind of like you've got shows through in a little bit. This pie roll, unless you make it really thick, it waters down pretty quickly. See how it dries not so bright. So I'm new to working with it, so that's interesting. So it does not retain that brightness. So then we kind of come in, make our dark with our trusty burnt sienna and indanthrone. There, nice and dark. And then we're going to want to come in at the top, it's quite dark. And you see how we're going to go ahead and, bump it up here. You can go ahead and create some ropes in here. Adding little bits. You just want to try to retain as much texture as you can. And here's where we want hard lines for once. Yeah, I've never painted lava before, so this is all new to me. Nice. And I want to retain those bright little lava spots. I like how it looks when you put the dark over it. So this is kind of a, you want to get that shelf there. So there, you get the gist. That's probably going to work out pretty cool. It's your darks that are going to be the real important element here. So at the bottom of that flow there, you'll want a pretty strong dark under it to emphasize. See how that looks when you put that dark right next to it and it pops. And then you can go in and create more of your ropey texture. Put that dark right under this bright spot here. You see how that just makes it pop? So work carefully with your darks. To get those rope bits going. And it's going to take a few passes working this. Fun. All right. Not too bad. Okay, 7 minutes over. But you can see how we can continue on. We'll improve the darks. Don't kill our reds too much. That's interesting how that pie roll is. Again, I'm experimenting with these new colors, so it's always interesting to play with that. So we are, yeah, I think we're at the end here. We are. Wow. Well done, everybody. These were fun. As always, I just love doing these. Let me stop the share. Let's go back to gallery view. Okay, awesome. How did everybody do? Was it like, ah? I mean, you saw me get a little over involved in a few of them, so the time went quickly. But it's so fun to do these and know that you can quickly capture stuff in the field, and then when you have time later, back at home or back at your camp or during lunch, during a hike, you can go back and refine them. But they were super fun and learned a lot. Painting lava, who would have thought? Not something I've done before. Anyone want to share their pages? Use the raise hand feature so it pops you to the top if you want to.
Well, I was using pencil and I found them very inadequate to what I wanted to accomplish. So I ended up doing a lot more just gray.
Okay,
You know,
cool. Do you have a camera?
I do, just a second.
Yeah, pop that on so we can see.
Oh, I have to allow it again.
Oop.
Let's see, am I coming on?
I lost you. Use the raise. Oh, there you are. Use the raise. Let me see. Spotlight. Found you. Oh, I lost you.
Oh, I'm right. Let me
Okay.
see. I'll do raise hand. There.
Okay. And since I don't have your video, it won't let me spot. Yeah, you're just blank, I'm afraid. Oh,
Oh, okay. But it was really fun.
that's too
Thank
bad.
you.
I'm sorry.
It's
Well,
all
yeah,
right.
it sounds send me pictures and I'll post them. It sounds really cool.
Oh, I was just learning.
Oh, good.
So
Well,
thank
if you
you.
figure out your camera, let me know. We'll put you back on. I'm gonna call in Mary now. Mary, there you are.
I
I was using pencil.
Nice. Oh my gosh. The blood falls is just perfect. Oh my gosh. Well done. I love all of them. The Mulu, the deer cave is so cool. Great proportions.
Didn't have I
Oh,
didn't have
you
all
got
the
the
colors.
colors. Woo! I love it. Fun, fun, fun. Oh, how fun. These are so much fun. Well done. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else want to put theirs up? Yeah, these are going to take some refinement time for me for sure. I'm looking at the opal. Actually, I was really pleased. I've never done that before, so I'm pleased how that came out. So you can see how to experiment and try different things to achieve the effects that you want, and just keep experimenting. Uh, we have only one more of these, and then what are your thoughts for what should our next set of subjects be after this
Mm,
one?
Maybe the microscopic things that, like plant cells or,
There, well, like that's a great idea. Like looking at things, but something more ordinary, but let's zoom in. Ooh, I'm writing that down. I'm liking that. Something a little more esoteric. Yeah, we could do, I mean, in that could be roots, could be cellular, could be looking at, a bee's head and the uh, cilia around that. Oh, that's just too fun. Well, as always, this is just, oh, Sue, you were going to say something.
yeah, maybe you want to consider insects. You know,
That's we they were included kind of in one of our critter ones, but not a lot. So we could do a
I see.
dedicated insect one. I think
Yep,
that might be
yep,
really doable, and we'd learn a lot.
yeah.
I mean, we've
Even
done some
algae,
beetles and stuff, but not a lot. Wow, that would be
even,
fun. Hmm.
even algae and moss is interesting these days
Oh,
too.
that's
Algae and
true.
moss, kind of
Could
the
you
smaller.
include lichen and
Yeah.
Hmm.
Fun.
Hmm.
all great ideas. Well, everybody have a wonderful rest of the weekend, or if you're at the end of your weekend, or however, send me your images to share on the website. Would be fabulous. I love doing that. I will have the recording and everything up um, probably later today. So I hope you had fun with this one. Who was new to today?
Yeah.
New entirely to
That
the
was
to the
really fun.
series.
Thank you.
All right, cool. Oh, Sue, yes. No, he was an accident. Okay. No worries. Okay. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Don't forget your tip jar.
Oh, thank you. I will put that in again. Thank you very much. And I appreciate that. All the time goes in, makes it fun. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Take
Thank you.
care.
Thank you.
You.
I'll announce the next one soon. It'll be September late after the Wild Wonder. All right. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.